There comes a moment when someone realizes the person they thought they could control is gone. Not just gone for now, but gone forever. That's the cold shock for a narcissist. The sudden, undeniable awareness that the love they took for granted is lost. All the charm, the manipulation, the games, it doesn't bring them back. For the first time, they see a life without the reflection that fed their ego, and it terrifies them. If this resonates, pause for a moment and hit that like button. Share this message. Understanding this process is your power. It helps you see their breakdown without being drawn back into it, and it strengthens your ability to move forward. When the narcissist fully realizes that the person they thought they could control or manipulate is gone forever, this is not a temporary separation or a minor conflict. It is the undeniable awareness that real love, the kind of connection that cannot be replaced or faked, is lost permanently. Up until this moment, the narcissist operates from a place of control and confidence. They rely on charm, manipulation, and emotional games to maintain influence over others and to reinforce their sense of superiority. They believe they can manage outcomes, shape perceptions, and regain attention whenever they choose. The cold shock breaks that illusion. It hits suddenly, often without warning, leaving them disoriented and exposed to emotions they are not accustomed to handling, such as anxiety, emptiness, or confusion. This moment is terrifying for a narcissist because their identity is built on the reflection of others, the admiration, attention, and validation they draw from those around them. Losing that mirror of real love challenges everything they believe about themselves. It forces them to confront the reality that control is not absolute, that influence has limits, and that genuine emotional connection cannot be manipulated at will. The cold shock is pivotal because it sets the stage for the unraveling that follows. It's the moment where the narcissist's overconfidence meets reality, where their ego encounters vulnerability, and where the emotional foundation they relied on begins to crack, leaving them facing consequences they never anticipated. Loss of supply is the stage where the narcissist begins to feel the full impact of losing real love because the emotional validation they depended on is gone. Narcissists thrive on external affirmation. They measure their worth through attention, admiration, and the reflection of themselves they receive from others. Real love provides a depth of connection that feeds their ego in ways superficial admiration cannot. When that love is lost, the supply that sustained their sense of power and identity disappears. This loss is deeply destabilizing because it removes the steady stream of emotional reinforcement they have relied on for control and confidence. Without it, they experience emptiness, frustration, and a growing sense of vulnerability they rarely face or acknowledge. They may attempt to seek alternative sources of supply, but nothing can replace the authenticity of a genuine connection they once had. The void left behind forces them to confront the reality that not all relationships are transactional and that some forms of love are beyond manipulation. This stage is crucial because it marks the beginning of a psychological unraveling. The narcissist, accustomed to having influence over others' emotions, now finds themselves on the receiving end of loss and helplessness. Recognizing this phase shows that their power is not limitless and that their reliance on external validation is a vulnerability. Losing real love disrupts their carefully maintained world and signals the start of emotional and identity fractures that will continue to grow if the connection remains permanently lost. Identity fracture occurs when the narcissist begins to experience a profound disruption in how they see themselves after losing real love. For a narcissist, their sense of identity is largely built on the reflection they receive from others. The admiration, attention, and emotional validation that reinforces their self-image. When real love leaves, that mirror shatters. Suddenly, they can no longer rely on someone else to define their worth or affirm their superiority. This creates a fracture in their identity, a destabilizing gap between who they think they are and the reality they now face. They may feel confused, empty, or even desperate as they attempt to reconcile the loss with the image of control and perfection they have projected. The traits and tactics they used to manipulate and dominate, charm, flattery, manipulation, offer no comfort in filling this void because real love cannot be replaced or replicated by deception. This stage is particularly painful because it challenges the very foundation of their self-concept. They are forced to confront vulnerability, failure, and the limits of their influence, emotions they are unaccustomed to facing. Identity. Fracture is crucial to understand because it explains why narcissists often spiral emotionally after losing a genuine connection. Their outward confidence may mask inner turmoil, but internally, the absence of someone who truly reflected and reinforced their ego creates confusion, anxiety, and a sense of powerlessness. It is this fracture that sets the stage for their emotional panic, desperation, and attempts at denial or control that follow. Emotional panic is the stage where the narcissist begins to feel intense inner turmoil after losing real love. They are not used to experiencing emotions like confusion, emptiness, or fear because their typical strategies, manipulation, control, and charm, shield them from vulnerability. When genuine love leaves, these defenses no longer work, and the emotions they have long suppressed rise to the surface. Panic may manifest as restlessness, irritability, obsessive thinking, or a desperate need to regain control over the situation. They may replay moments in their mind, analyzing what went wrong or trying to find ways to manipulate the outcome retroactively, but nothing fills the void left by the lost connection. The intensity of this emotional panic is amplified by the narcissist's reliance on external validation. The absence of love they cannot control makes them feel exposed, powerless, and uncertain of their own worth. Unlike the calm or calculated exterior they often present to the world, internally they are struggling with a profound sense of loss they do not know how to process. Emotional panic is crucial because it shows the beginning of an unraveling that goes beyond ego bruises. It affects their stability, decision-making, and sense of self. This stage demonstrates that even the most confident, seemingly untouchable narcissist is vulnerable when confronted with genuine love they cannot manipulate, and it sets the stage for the subsequent stages of regret, desperation, and isolation. Comparison and regret is the stage where the narcissist begins obsessing over what they have lost and realizing the true value of the love they can no longer control. Unlike superficial admiration or temporary attention, real love provided a depth of connection and validation that no replacement can replicate. In this stage, the narcissist often starts comparing potential replacements, other relationships, or hypothetical scenarios, only to see that nothing matches what they once had. Regret sets in as they recognize that their manipulation, selfishness, or inability to maintain the bond caused the loss, and that it cannot be reversed. This is particularly painful for them because narcissists thrive on control and the ability to shape outcomes in their favor. The permanence of real love's absence forces them to confront limitations they rarely acknowledge. They may attempt mental rationalizations or denial, telling themselves they can find someone else to fill the void, but genuine emotional connection is irreplaceable. Comparison magnifies the loss, and regret deepens as they realize that the person they betrayed or pushed away was unique in providing both emotional supply and authentic reflection of their ego. This stage is critical because it shows that narcissists are not immune to consequences. Their overconfidence and self-centered choices lead to genuine emotional pain when faced with loss they cannot manipulate or undo. Comparison and regret are part of the unraveling process, revealing vulnerabilities beneath the carefully constructed exterior and highlighting the real cost of losing someone who offered love they cannot replace. Isolation reality occurs when the narcissist begins to face the consequences of losing real love in a social and relational sense. As their manipulations, control tactics, and selfish behaviors are exposed, sometimes subtly, sometimes openly, friends, allies, and other social connections may begin to distance themselves. People who once reinforced their ego or provided validation may recognize patterns of toxicity and step back, leaving the narcissist with fewer sources of support. This isolation is especially impactful because narcissists rely heavily on external networks to maintain their sense of superiority and control. Without these connections, they feel unmoored, vulnerable, and exposed. Isolation reality is not just about physical separation. It's about the erosion of influence and admiration that once sustained their identity. They may attempt to rebuild control, reach out, or manipulate others back into their orbit, but the authenticity and trust that supported their social world are often permanently damaged. Facing isolation for the first time is a stark confrontation with the limits of their power and the consequences of their past actions. This stage underscores the fact that real love was a cornerstone of their emotional supply. Losing it triggers a chain reaction that disrupts both personal and social structures. Understanding isolation reality is important because it shows that the narcissist's collapse is not only internal, but also relational. Their social world begins to reflect the emptiness left by the lost connection, and their attempts to regain dominance or admiration reveal their vulnerability, further highlighting the irreversible impact of losing someone who provided genuine love. Desperation and self-deception is the stage where the narcissist tries to cope with the loss of real love, often in ways that reveal both their vulnerability and their denial. Faced with the reality that they cannot regain the unique connection they once had, they may engage in frantic attempts to reclaim control or recreate what has been lost. This can take the form of reaching out repeatedly, attempting manipulative gestures, or convincing themselves that the loss is temporary or that someone else can replace the depth of love they lost. They may rationalize their past actions, telling themselves that the relationship was never real or that the other person's leaving was unfair, while ignoring the role their own behavior played in causing the loss. This self-deception allows them to avoid fully confronting the consequences of their choices, but it also amplifies their internal panic and frustration. Desperation becomes visible in the intensity of their attempts to regain influence or in their obsessive thinking about what they have lost. Unlike previous stages, where emotions may be more internalized, this phase often exposes cracks in their carefully maintained exterior. They may lash out, manipulate, or try to control new situations in a clumsy or obvious way. Recognizing this stage is important because it shows that narcissists, despite their outward confidence, are profoundly affected when they lose someone they cannot manipulate or replace. Their desperation and self-deception highlight the depth of their dependency on external validation and the long-term consequences of losing real love they once took for granted. Empowerment of the left is about the profound shift that occurs for the person who is able to leave the narcissist and reclaim their life. While the narcissist spirals into desperation, regret, and emotional unraveling, the person who walked away gains clarity, freedom, and control over their own energy. This stage highlights the contrast between the two experiences. The narcissist, dependent on external validation and emotional supply, faces emptiness and instability, while the one who left experiences growth, healing, and empowerment. By stepping away from manipulation and emotional games, the person who left can set strong boundaries, prioritize self-care, and focus on building authentic, reciprocal relationships. This empowerment is not just emotional, it's psychological, social, and practical. It allows the individual to reclaim autonomy, make decisions based on their own needs rather than the narcissist's agenda, and embrace opportunities for personal development that were previously blocked or overshadowed by the toxic dynamic. Importantly, this stage underscores that the narcissist's breakdown is not a form of revenge, it is a natural consequence of their choices, while the left-behind individual turns the experience into a catalyst for positive transformation. Empowerment of the left demonstrates the resilience and strength that comes from recognizing manipulation, taking action, and refusing to be controlled. It reinforces the ultimate lesson: losing someone who cannot truly love you can lead to growth, independence, and freedom, leaving the narcissist powerless, while the person who walked away emerges stronger, wiser, and fully in charge of their own life. When a narcissist loses real love forever, the impact on them is profound, even if it is not immediately visible. Their sense of control, carefully maintained through manipulation, charm, and deception, begins to unravel the moment they realize the person they relied on for emotional validation and admiration is gone. The cold shock of this realization is sudden and disorienting, forcing them to confront the permanence of the loss. Without the emotional supply that once reinforced their ego, they experience panic, emptiness, and confusion, emotions they are not accustomed to managing. Their identity, built on the reflections of others and the perception of superiority, fractures, leaving them feeling vulnerable and destabilized. Obsession, comparison, and regret follow as they realize no replacement or manipulation can recreate the depth of connection they lost, amplifying their desperation. The consequences spread further as isolation sets in. Friends, allies, and networks begin distancing themselves, exposing the social and relational impact of their behavior. Attempts at self-deception or regaining control often fail, highlighting the limits of their power and the irreversible nature of their loss. Meanwhile, the person who walked away emerges empowered, reclaiming emotional energy, setting boundaries, and focusing on healing and authentic growth. The contrast is stark. The narcissist spirals into instability, while the left-behind individual gains clarity, resilience, and independence. Ultimately, this process demonstrates a profound truth. Manipulation and control may dominate temporarily, but real love cannot be replaced, and losing it has consequences that reveal vulnerability, spark reflection, and emphasize the enduring power of emotional authenticity and personal empowerment.